Hey, where are y'all going? Y'all come back out here. We have some good stuff to talk with y'all about today. I am up here with some great friends, and they are a lot like me. They are some gun-loving, gun-toting women. Do I have any of y'all out there? Awesome. Well, one of my favorite things about being in this community and being surrounded by so many women that are so advocate about the Second Amendment, just like me, is that we all come from different backgrounds and we all come from different reasons and journeys as to why we became so passionate about the Second Amendment. And they're all different. And so I want to give each of these girls the opportunity to tell their story. I have Amy Robbins right here. Paige Roux, and Jordan Rachel. So my story about how I got into being an advocate for the Second Amendment is probably different than all of these girls. I grew up hunting, so I was always around like rifles and shooting guns with my dad and things like that. But when it came to pistols and handguns, I was completely terrified of them. I did not like shooting them. I was just not about it. And I really didn't understand why. They just, for some reason, were like scary to me. And I'm sure some of y'all can relate to that. But a couple of years ago, I actually got someone to help me start shooting pistols, and I can load them myself now. I am so confident in shooting, and it's just about getting out there and actually trying it for yourself. You're going to build that confidence whenever you get out there. So now I feel very confident in shooting any type of gun. So it's just about getting out there and actually trying it for yourself. So Amy, let us hear your story about why you are so passionate about the Second Amendment.
Thank you. And so I might have a very similar story to a lot of you. I grew up in the country. I grew up kind of like Kendall around a lot of firearms. So I grew up shooting from a very young age and always knew that the Second Amendment supported my family's right to defend and protect ourselves. But I didn't actually make it something that was a part of my life until I was much older. And so the Second Amendment and being an advocate for it actually happened when I was probably in my late 20s, and it stemmed from a personal need that I had. And so I actually was in the entertainment industry prior to what I'm currently doing now. And I was hosting TV shows, I was modeling, and I got cast to host a TV show for a little known organization called the NRA. Woo! Never heard of the NRA. And at that point, I really didn't know anything about firearms. We had just gotten one in my house. I always had to have my husband load that thing, those things in the thing, you know, the bullets and the magazine. I didn't know what I was talking about. I had no idea why I was being cast on this TV show. But that's where I started to learn about firearms, and I became safe and proficient with shooting them. And because of that, when I started training for a marathon in 2015, I had probably a similar experience to a lot of you runners and people that like to be outdoors, but I was out training for a marathon in an area that I was very comfortable with, always felt safe running there, and one day I was followed and harassed by a van full of about 7 men, and it was a very scary experience for me because at that point I did not carry any form of self-defense tool on my body. And even though I knew about them, I was safe with them, I still hadn't made it a personal decision in my life to carry a self-defense tool. And so that van drove off, and then they circled back around, and they came back and they did it again. And I had this moment, this epiphany, where I was like, oh my gosh, if this were to escalate beyond the catcalls, beyond the harassing comments, what am I gonna do? As a woman, there's no way I am outrunning 7 men. There is no way I'm in a van. There's no way I am fighting off one of these guys, much less 7 of them. I knew they're bigger than me, they're stronger than me, and they're faster than me. And it was at that moment that all of my training and everything that I had been getting accustomed to with firearms kicked in. And I immediately went, I got my license to carry, and then I was so excited because I got a gun and I had my license, and then I'm like, where am I gonna put it when I'm running? No big name athletic company had holsters in their leggings, and nothing was cute in the gun industry. So that's how I got the idea to start my company, Alexo Athletica. How many of you have heard of our company, Alexo? Oh, yay! That makes me so happy because it was at that moment that I realized that there is a lot of women out there that want to feel empowered by taking their personal protection into their own hands. They don't want to have to rely on somebody else to defend and protect them, even if that means calling the police. You know, the police could be minutes away when you need something in a matter of seconds. And so that's what led me on the journey to start this company, Alexo. And with doing that, we also wanted to create just this amazing community of empowered women that love their freedom, that love the Second Amendment, and love being able to be very, very independent when it came to being self-reliant and taking care of themselves. So that was really my journey. From then on, I was like, you know what? I truly believe that God has given me this mission field through this company to be a Second Amendment advocate, because that is the amendment that protects all of our other rights. And so, yeah, that's my journey.
Yes. Amy has actually become a dear friend of mine over the past couple of years, and she came out to my ranch not long ago, and she actually told me a very detailed story about how Alexo Athletica was born. We put it up on my YouTube channel, so if you want to learn more about that, go check out my YouTube and the story about Amy. But now we have Paige Roux, who also has a background in the gun industry. So tell us about how you got started and why you're so passionate about the Second Amendment.
My background is about as unique as it gets. I am from Phoenix, Arizona. And my father, when I was 2 years old, bought an indoor shooting range called Shooter's World. And now, hey, come see me. And now we are one of the largest indoor shooting ranges in the country. But at around 4 years old, I actually grew up in the shooting range. So we didn't go to daycare, my brother and I. We actually had a playroom at the top of the stairs or on the second floor of our shooting range. And my dad said, you're going to play up there, and if you get bored, as long as you're quiet, you can watch me sell guns. And ever since then, I was about 14 years old, fast forward, I was teaching classes. I was through our curriculum 2 or 3 times by this time. And I am now the training coordinator for our entire company. So I train all of our instructors. And we do have more female instructors than we do male instructors. I'm very proud of that. But I really got into the 2A community and just this movement because I thought everyone just had a gun, right? I grew up where there was always guns. I grew up in a business where whoever was coming in wanted a gun. I didn't know about this movement until I started instructing, and I was teaching all women's classes, and I had questions of how do I conceal as a female? How do I conceal a firearm as a female? What firearm works best for me? How do I load those things, right? And I didn't realize how empowering it is to shoot a firearm as a woman. And ever since then, I just had this overwhelming passion for firearms, and I want to train as many women as possible to feel empowered so that you can conceal on a run, so that you can. I have taught 4-year-olds up to 84-year-olds, no matter what size, no matter what shape, no matter what age. Oh my God, it's my passion, and I am meant to do this. So that's my background.
That's amazing. We also have Jordan Rachel here, who is a conservative media personality. She goes on Twitter and she just combats the left with facts about why our Constitution is so important. So why is it to you, Jordan, that the Second Amendment is so important in this journey?
So for me, is this on? So for me, I was born and raised in Washington State, and I currently live in Los Angeles, California right now.
Call me California.
So I am not so familiar with the actual gun industry itself, but I am very familiar with the constitutionality of the gun, and I am very familiar with the fact that the Second Amendment is the absolute most important amendment we have. It is more important than the First because it enforces the First. There's a debate there. But it's more important than the First, and it is the most important of all because it protects the rest. So I'm very passionate about the Second Amendment.
Without the Second Amendment, we wouldn't have free speech. So we hear things that why are gun rights women's rights? You hear that controversy all the time, but why is it so important for women to start shooting a gun and get into the gun world?
I am not naive to think that the narrative that you all are hearing right now is very, very different than what I grew up hearing. I mean, probably most of you on a daily basis are faced with hearing people have to tell you as a woman, like you're more likely to die if there is a gun in the house, and they want to strip you of the ability to learn how to safely use them and to be effective with them, and they want to make you feel like this gun, which is simply a tool, is a big, bad, scary thing. And to me, I think that's the antithesis of women's empowerment. I believe that we all in here have the ability, when we're equipped with a strong mind, with a strong body, and a strong set of skills, every single one of us in this room have the ability to be self-reliant. We just have to take the time to get the training and to learn how they operate. And for me, once I learned that, because I'm probably like a lot of you, I was very intimidated by the firearm when I first started down this journey, and it wasn't until I got my hands on the guns and I went to the range and I started working with amazing trainers that I felt so confident. And kind of like Paige was saying, it was one of the most empowering things I could ever do for myself. Outside of my relationship with God, it is the most empowering thing in my life to know that I can take care of myself. I don't have to rely on somebody else to do it. And so it really is so important to me that we bring more women into the fold of this. And I know I have like probably 2 seconds to wrap this up, but I just wanted to say, like, we at Alexo, our mission with our company really is to continue to build this community. And so if you do not own a pair of Alexos yet, if all of you will take your phone out, I want to give you all a wonderful discount code. I want to give you a 50% off discount code, because I want to see every single one of you, even if you don't carry a firearm, I want to see all of you taking your protection into your own hands how you see fit. So our website is alexoathletica.com, and now through the end of this month, if you use code YWLS, you can use it on any of your purchases. So we're getting brand new stuff.
I was about to say she has a new summer line coming out, and I got some sneak peeks of it. And
yes, so you can check out the video on Kendall's YouTube page to see all the new stuff, but you can go shopping and get 50% off your purchase. And here's why. There's power in numbers, ladies. The more of us that start wearing these type of clothes and supporting businesses that support our rights and our freedoms, when we post about it on social media and we're not scared to say that I support this group because they support my rights, there's power in numbers that gives these politicians who are trying to strip us of our rights a message, and we're sending a strong message to them that says, do not touch our Second Amendment, because you're going to have to mess with every single lady in this room if you do.
You mess with the bull, you get the horns. Right. Okay, Paige, I know we talked about this backstage, and me and Amy have talked about it before, but one of the most common questions we get asked as people who shoot guns, hey, I want to get into carrying a gun or shooting a pistol. What gun should I shoot? So I'll let you take it. I was about to start taking it, but I'll let you take it from there.
Oh my goodness. Has anyone been asked or told you should shoot this gun?
Yes.
Or, hey,
yes.
I have this gun, you should go try it. From men most of the time, right? Yeah. So I will actually never answer this question for you. There are tons of women who message me on my Instagram. I'm some chick who shoots, or you can just look up my full name. All the time. Hey, I want to get into concealed carry. What gun should I get? Do you ask someone what kind of shoes you should get? No? You need to try it out yourself. You need to try what gun you want. What are you going to use it for? Right? There are different, just like shoes, right? What price point do you want? All these things you have to think about, and you have to go to the range, just like you were saying. You have to go to the range and try them out yourself, because what I like is going to be completely different, or what we like. We all carry different firearms. Are we right? Yeah. So you have to try the gun that works for you, because we are all going to be different. But you have to do that so that you can make that decision and you can feel confident with that decision. So please, when we leave today, if anyone tells you you need to try a specific gun because that's the gun that I like, tell them, like our speaker before, kick rocks and go try it out yourself.
Yes, I think taking suggestions is one thing.
Yes.
To go test it out, but don't go off and just buy something because someone told you to.
It's a huge commitment. Absolutely, yes. Take recommendations. I'll recommend, 3 to 5. Try them out. You guys have a YouTube video on that as well. Definitely go check that out. Take recommendations, but you have to make that decision. You have to be empowered to make that decision.
For sure. Okay, Jordan. We said before that you live in Calmy, California. So I'm sure you get people asking or telling you all the time and bickering with you about anti-guns. So how would you approach someone to open that conversation to get educated on it and go back to them about the people that are just anti-gun?
So I would say to really educate yourself on the historical and universal truths of disarmed populations. Bottom line, because it never ends well. And I talk a lot about the downfall of Venezuela, and I talk about how if the people were armed in Venezuela and they were never disarmed, I think it happened in 2013, it wouldn't be as bad as it is right now. So I would really talk about the history and the facts that are there.
Yeah, always hit them with facts.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question before we start wrapping this up. But I know so many people that have never shot a gun before or that are scared of them. But they kind of are open to, maybe I want to try this out. Maybe I want to get more knowledge on it. What advice would you give those girls that are still on the edge about it, that really don't know what they believe in yet? And how should they go about trying it for the first time?
I mean, it's a different journey for each of us up here. I mean, for me, it was really just getting my hands on a firearm. We lived out in the country, so my dad bought us guns for our Christmas presents, and I didn't know how they worked. I mean, I remember him getting me a revolver for one gun, and I really didn't like the grip. I didn't like how I had to hold a revolver, so I switched to a semi-automatic pistol. So he got me another one for Christmas, and it was really just a matter of getting out there and getting over that initial fear of the kickback, the sounds, just all the things that are really intimidating about a firearm. For me, it was even loading my own magazine was extremely intimidating because I didn't know which direction the bullet went in that case. And then I felt stupid, and then I didn't, it was one of those things that I just wanted to put aside, and I didn't want to even do it anymore. But then once someone sat down with me, showed me how to do it, and I did it a few times, and then I could rack my own slide, I could hit the target, I was like, okay, this is awesome, and I could do it. So just
so empowering.
It was the only thing that got me over my fear was to just go out and do it.
What about you, Paige? What do you think?
I absolutely agree. And what I always recommend is it's such an overwhelming experience, depending on if you're going outdoors or indoors. Like I said, I live on an indoor shooting range, so it's a lot louder and it's extremely overwhelming. And the women that come to me, I have to tell them that it's an overwhelming experience because you also don't know your emotional background or what you've been through. And if you've been taken of your power and then you put a gun in your hands, I'll tell you right now, it puts that power back into you. And that is the most amazing experience to see and to have as yourself. So what I say is, it's an overwhelming topic if you don't know a lot about it, right? I mowed the lawn for the first time last year, and I thought the lawnmower was going to cut my toes off because I didn't know how to use it. I'm from Arizona, that's why. But with firearms, just go for the experience. Don't go with the intent of like, I have to know all these things and I have to be ready because I have to prepare myself and I'm going to use this for my end goal is to use it for personal protection or home protection. Don't be overwhelmed by that. Go for the experience. Learn one thing at a time and then come back to it and then come back to it. And learn one thing every time that you go, or watch YouTube videos so you can gain knowledge while you're just scrolling through your phone. And that will empower you to feel more comfortable. And I promise you'll feel so much more comfortable with handling your personal protection tool.
And can I add one thing really fast too? I mean, it's really important that you have women that you can go to and talk to about all of this. And I will say that those of us up here on the stage, if you're not following us on social media yet, do. My personal page, and I'm pretty active on Instagram, is the Amy Robbins. And then our team is really responsive on our Alexo Athletica account as well. So if you have questions about this, DM myself, DM Kendall, DM Paige, Jordan, can we DM you about gun questions? And DM us, because we want to get back in touch with you and give you as much resources as we can, as much information as we possibly can. So make sure you're following all of us up here on the stage, and if you ever have questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
For sure. And one last thing before we end this panel and let y'all go get some lunch is I want to say, don't be embarrassed to go out there for the first time, just because you may not know an absolute thing, and that is okay. No one expects you to be an expert in it. I was never an expert in it. I'm still not an expert in it. Those videos I was talking about on YouTube, I'm actually going through my journey of concealed carrying and finding out what pistol fits me best. I still don't know what concealed carry gun I want to use. I know which ones I'm somewhat comfortable with, but I am still learning. I am nobody's expert, and no one expects you to be one either. So go out there, ask those questions. There's no dumb questions, trust me. I am the queen of questions. I don't care. I don't know the answer, it's fine. Just ask the questions. Yeah, just ask the questions. You aren't growing if you aren't asking and learning. And just be confident in that, and it's okay to not know. So thank you guys for coming out. And make sure to stop and say hi, grab a picture, ask us the gun questions. If we don't know that question or that answer, we will find an answer for you. So thank you guys. Enjoy.